Fresh inflation numbers turned in a huge miss to expectations. The media took a victory lap, but what's really happening? The biggest driver of the weakening CPI was crashing energy prices, which could either be the Middle East war turning out more limited than feared, or it could be recession incoming, since recessions always drop energy use, meaning they always drop energy prices. So first the numbers. Headline came in almost flat, so essentially everything went up, and then energy canceled it out. Core inflation, which excludes food and energy, and is the one the Fed pays attention to, continued marching up, registering 4% year-on-year increase. That's the 28th month at or above 4% in this very transitory inflation of ours, coming to an aggregate 17% official inflation since Joe Biden took office, meaning real wages have been falling for over 2 years, in fact 27 of the past 31 months. Keep in mind these are all government numbers, so take it all with an enormous grain of salt. And of course, both headline and core are still running way ahead of what the Fed promises, which is 2% across the board. I've mentioned how hot core inflation is a problem for the Fed, since the longer core runs hot, the more people expect future inflation. So they bake it into salaries, contracts, and long-term prices, making it hard to end inflation going forward. The CPI numbers that did come out juiced markets since they could mean the Fed is done with rate hikes. In fact, the fresh numbers dropped odds of another rate hike to just 5%, and they put us at 99.4% odds of lower rates in a year, although only by half a point, so still expect 7.5% mortgages. So what is driving the drop in inflation? It's an important question because sometimes inflation drops because they're printing less, but it can also drop because of incoming recession. Those are normally deflationary as unsold goods pile up and energy prices fall. That seems to be exactly what's happening at the moment. Energy dropped 2.5% on the month, which is a pretty big move, but food inflation actually leapt the highest since April. Medical costs and housing are also running hot at close to 4% per year. The most concerning beyond energy was price drops in used cars and non-food commodities like clothes and household goods. These actually fell, which suggests consumer stress. So when people are struggling, they might get rid of the second car, which drives down used car prices, or they might cut back on clothes and furniture, which leaves unsold goods that are discounted. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. My base case has been that we're repeating the 1970s, but with the prospect of a 2008 financial crisis, given the breathtaking amount of debt we have taken on since the 70s. After all, back then we were fresh off Nixon breaking gold, but now we've had 60 years of debt. Thing is, the 1970s inflation followed a camelback pattern that's very similar to today. So first it jumped, then it relaxed for a few years, then it came roaring back harder and longer. If that's what's in store, this is the calm before the storm. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.